President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Obama, President of the Africa Expo-Import Bank, distinguished guests, ladies, President of the Liberia Bank for Development Investment, Mr. Davis, all protocol observers. I bring you greetings from our President, His Excellency George Monrovia, who would have loved to be here, but because of his schedule, couldn't. Again, I would also like to recognize the presence of our immediate former President, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I salute you, ma'am. I thank you all for coming together at this conception of Loita and LBDI JV, a bright star for Liberia's future. We would like to highlight I thank you all for coming together at this conception of Loita and LBDI JV, a bright star for Liberia's future. We would like to highlight that one of the primary challenges facing Liberia's development is the lack of access to finance. It is consistently listed as one of the key obstacles to business generation, not only in Liberia but across the world. In this economy such as ours, with a nascent commercial banking sector, the introduction of a new investment bank is hugely welcoming. We know that sustained economic growth comes through the creation of domestic businesses and promoting the private sector. Big multinationals are able to access their own line of cheap credit. However, small and medium-sized domestic businesses usually struggle to find financing. We would like to see Loita and LBDI JV targeting these entities, especially in manufacturing, as this helps to develop our people's skills and keep talent in our country. Here in Liberia, we have a number of potential entrepreneurs looking to either start up a business or expand on existing ones. We believe there are many opportunities for small and medium enterprises that are ripe for exploitation by local firms, especially in areas such as agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing. All they require is a helping hand in terms of some startup capital to get their business on a business ladder. The transaction advisory aspect of Loita portfolio will also be essential in giving domestic firms who have great ideas and businesses but no idea how to start their own businesses with the necessary skill set. This is very important, especially for entrepreneurs who may not have degrees in business, economics, or finance, as many of our potential businessmen lack experience in setting up large-scale businesses and accessing formal credit lines from financial institutions. We believe that this JV is a vital step in establishing a formal credit provision sector in Liberia with a target on business and investment. There is a real gap here because although we have commercial banks who are very important partners operating in Liberia, their focus is not so much on providing loans geared towards setting up and expanding businesses. I'm excited by this new prospect of Loita and LBDI JV, assisting both domestic and also some foreign firms in accessing credit, bringing more production and more goods and more employment to our people. We firmly believe that there are many opportunities and prospects from aspiring Liberian businessmen and women that Loita and LBDI can work with. I look forward to the National Investment Commission working alongside this joint venture and the private sector to undertake matchmaking programs, creating opportunities for linkages with the JV. We have a wealth of knowledge about prospective businesses that will be more than happy to put these businesses in contact with Loita and LBDI. We appreciate the openness of this new investment bank and welcome the visit of President Orama. Thank you for coming, sir. Of the Africa Export-Import Bank, who know as well as anyone in this room the vital importance of access to credit. We are confident that we will soon see a prosperous private sector full of Liberian businesses starting up, expanding, and succeeding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. We will now have a few remarks by President John Davis of LBDI.
Trust me, I know it is lunch hour. Your Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia, Your Excellency, President Arama, Dr. Arama, President of the Africa Export-Import Bank, members of the Board of Directors of the Liberia Bank for Development and Investment, DG Kombamos of NASCOP, who is our gracious host, my colleague and esteemed members of the Executive Committee of the Liberia Bankers Association, in the person of the CEOs of the respective banks, the Acting Minister of Finance and members of the Minister of Finance team, our governors and members of the Board of Governors of the Central Bank of Liberia, Mr. Chairman of the National Investment Commission, our partner in Loita, members of the African Export-Import Bank delegation, members of the Diplomatic Corps, other high government officials present on this occasion, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting the clergy. Today, we sow a very important seed in the quest to deal with the onerous challenge of access to finance, incapacitating and empowering the Liberian economy. That seed, which was sown today, a few minutes ago, started out of an idea on the Zambezi River in Zimbabwe, South Africa. When at a conference organized for payment systems, I had the distinguished pleasure of meeting Mr. Justin Kenyatta for the first time and reminiscing about investment banking and the shortfalls and pitfalls and challenges associated with developing Africa at large. I was bold enough to muster the courage to invite him to Liberia to hold our hands and help our banking industry to look for innovative ways of dealing with the challenge of access to finance. It's been quite a while, but at long last, we are here. And one of the most comforting thoughts that gave us the courage to embark on this road was when we saw the number of successful transactions consummated by Loita, and we reached the determination in conjunction with our board of directors, and we thank you members of the board for agreeing with us that Loita was the best fit partner with the experience in the investment financing in sub-Saharan Africa to help us to deal with this challenge. So we thank all of you for the role you play. We must also thank the Central Bank of Liberia, because time after time, whenever we've had the opportunity to deal with this challenge, it's always been how do we finance businesses in Liberia beyond bank deposits. And today, with their support and with their approval, some time ago, early last year I believe, we were able to start on this road in a very confident manner. Today, as we are launching this initiative, we must also recognize the fact that Africa Export-Import Bank has exhibited true partnership for Africa, as highlighted by the presence of His Excellency Dr. Arama, the CEO of the Africa Export-Import Bank. Dr. Arama, let me tell you in this public manner, when the news broke last month that the Africa Export-Import Bank had approved financing to the Liberian banking sector by discounting $65 million worth of bonds, it was like, hope I finally arrived, and yes, we're on the road. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of hope. So the fact that you've not only matched your words, but you've also consummated your words by deeds, by being present in Liberia today, is again another strong indication that in Africa, the Africa Export-Import Bank is one of those true thread bearers of the real African partnership. We say thank you to
I'm humbled and privileged to welcome you all to this occasion of the opening of the representative office of Loita Capital Partners International, which will house the investment banking unit under a joint endeavor with our partners LBDI. Loita is a pan-African investment banking institution which was established in 1992. We are headquartered in Mauritius, but to emphasize our pan-African nature, I am a Zambian citizen. I'm based in South Africa. I'm running an institution headquartered in Mauritius, and we are now opening an institution in Liberia. So, since inception in 1992, we have advised on, structured, and arranged transactions in excess of 6 billion United States dollars for our various African clients, who are composed primarily of governments, central banks, major exporters, importers, manufacturers, and the small and medium enterprise sector. Whereas we have welcomed the complementarity and partnership of the non-African international financial community, nonetheless, we have always operated under the ethos of African financial solutions to African financial problems. As my friend John Davis pointed out, he encouraged me to come to Liberia after we met at the Victoria Falls, but we were actually encouraged by His Excellency, the President, President Johnson, in 2016, to consider a non-traditional financial approach structured to the liquidity issues which were confronting my now landlord, the NASCO. Our solution, which involved a structured financing approach, culminated in our engaging the most preeminent institution on the continent for structured finance in Africa, our friends, the African Export-Import Bank. During this process, we have been further encouraged by the continuity and vision of the government. We successfully concluded the transaction, which has resulted, amongst other things, in the refinancing of the Jamale Diagnostic Center. But we have been encouraged during this process by the continuity which has been provided by the vision of the government of His Excellency George Mane Ware, through the Ministry of Finance for Development and Planning and the Central Bank of Liberia, who have provided us with an ongoing platform of support. And in this regard, I wish to specifically extend my thanks to the government of Liberia. We will, in terms of our vision for the office and in terms of our vision for the investment banking unit of LBDI, we are hoping to support Liberia's economic development ambitions through addressing the country's financial needs with non-traditional approaches. We will leverage on the rich natural resource base of the country. We will also not only work with LBDI, of course, but with other banks in the country, with the entire financial sector, to focus on strengthening the country's exports potential and in positioning Liberia as an attractive investment destination. May I conclude by again thanking the government of the Republic of Liberia, the Central Bank of Liberia, our friends at African Export-Import Bank, the NIC, represented by the Chairman Gray, who is here, NASCO, and last but not the least, my landlords, NASCO, of course. But the anchor transaction, i.e. the anchor transaction of NASCO, which we started out with, has made this day possible. I also thank my colleague, Ms. Lisa Antwi. Where's Lisa? And all the management and staff of LBDI and Loita, including my executive assistants who are traveled from South Africa to make this day possible. May God bless the Republic of Liberia and bless this joint endeavor between LBDI and Loita. Thank you very much.
Touching on important things, we just went to see the diagnostic center, the outpatient hospital clinic. We are here in NASCOP. We've done a number of things. We've financed the road project, the Peter Road project here, and also we worked with the Liberia Bank for Development and Investment and others to unlock the liquidity problems that the banking sector here is witnessing. Also, we have many important things in the pipeline. We are working to finance a major regional rail project that will make it possible for Guinea to export its minerals, especially the largest deposit of iron ore, which is just by the border of not too far from Liberia, to make it possible for it to be exported more efficiently and more cost effectively. And building that railway, which we estimate will cost about $2 billion, create an important corridor that will bring development along the line. I thank our board member whose company, DB. I'm working on this project. We are very happy that today President Ware confirmed his full support for it. Also, President Conde of Guinea is fully supportive. We think these are the kinds of projects that will propel Africa going forward. We think it's this kind of projects that rationalize the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. There is no need to spend a lot of money to build a very long railway that will make exporting of certain goods very, very expensive and make them non-tradable, if there are other ways to do that. So that we begin to break down the borders and use our resources more efficiently. We hope we can use this as a project that will show the way for many other parts of Africa. But having said that, as I look at Liberia, I see tremendous opportunities. Why should the GDP of Liberia be just $3 billion? With the abundance of mineral resources, agricultural land, water, and everything, abundance of very young, energetic people, great ideas, abundance of people in the diaspora. Why should the GDP be $3 billion? It is because we've not done things to monetize these resources. We've not converted the energy of the people into something that will bring wealth to all of us. We've not found a way to exploit the natural resources so that we benefit from it. Not only those who call themselves investors. And as I look at Liberia also, just last year, foreign direct investment came in at about $8 billion. That is a lot. If we strip off the shipping things so that we can look at the rates, the costs are still extremely large. But how can an economy that has foreign direct investment in the year of $8 billion be having liquidity challenges in the banks? It means then there is something wrong. Why should a country that has all these mineral resources that are being exported, even if we take the recorded ones of more than $1 billion a year, why should there be liquidity problems within the banks? I think it's because the banking here is externalized. People who make money here do not use the banking system here. The Nigerian banks have become bigger and bigger because the law was changed. You cannot do any transaction in Nigeria, the oil sector, and other major sectors without involving Nigerian banks. Nigerian bank must be there. And I think the local content policy here, law, must look at that. Because as the head of the National Investment Agency said, financing is critical. No country, nobody will develop without finance. There is, in a capital scarce economy, it is financing that will unlock development. We have abundant labor. We have land. What is missing is capital. So anything we do, the focus should be on capital. And that's why I'm very pleased that we are opening this facility here today. Money is a product of ideas. Investment banks are not only incubators of ideas, they also transform ideas into bankable possibilities. It is investment banks that will help us turn the energy I mentioned into wealth. It is investment banks that will make it possible for us to smartly develop the natural resources this country has. It is investment banks that will make it possible to find ways of using the long coastline that we have even for tourism. Why should there be very, very few chances in Monrovia? Why can Monrovia be a conference destination in this part of the world? It is investment bank that will be able to get those things done. And I say to you, financing is available if ideas can be put out to attract them. Those who own capital want returns on capital in a safe way. So you just need to find a way to package your ideas so that those funding can come. And for us in our present bank, we are focused on supporting our member countries. We say we run where ideas fear to tread. We believe and trust our member countries. We are not scared when people say it's risky. Our home cannot be risky. We only require partnership where everybody, those we support, that they know that by also complying in terms of our support, that they are supporting us. And I can tell you, we have more than $700 million we can lend to this country. You don't need to go far. You don't need to go far. If there are some that think that if I ask you now, countries that you say, well, Zimbabwe, you can say South Sudan, you can call a few countries. But it will surprise you to know that our exposure to Zimbabwe is more than $1 billion. It will surprise you to know that our exposure to South Sudan that is more than $500 million, and we're just $100 million here. What that does to you, are not using it as say anything, but the opportunity that is here. And I want to encourage Loita, I want to encourage LBDI, I want to encourage everybody at the banks who are here to try to make use of that opportunity. Because if we prosper, African Bank prospers, And if African Bank is stronger, our continent will be stronger. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. All protocols observed. The time has been far spent. I see everybody has said everything possible. Thank you so much, Dr. Robert, for your exposé. Wow, great. Madam President, thank you. Thank the government. We want to thank all of you. Loita, Justin, we welcome you as a tenant. NASCOP is quite happy to have you as a tenant. But then again, NASCOP is also a major shareholder in LBDI. So it's both ways. We want to thank all of you for coming. Welcome to Loita. The day is about LBDI and Loita today. NASCOP hosts them. We're quite happy to host them. Thank you for coming.